What's up, guys? I'm Melissa Elise and you're watching Melissa Elise TV, and welcome back to another week of Outlander Review. Season 3, Episode 8, First Wife was jam-packed, so let's get to it. Claire, Jamie, and young Ian arrive at Lollybrook, each with their own hesitation for returning. Jenny and Ian meet them at the front step, but Claire does not get the usual warm and friendly welcome from Jenny. No hugs or even smiles are exchanged. Inside, they let Jamie and young Ian have it for lying to them, and then Claire gets some of the parental wrath for killing a man. But Claire explains that it was self-defense and young Ian wasn't even in the room at the time. Jamie tries to defend his actions, but Ian points out that if he's going to act like the boy's father, he has to discipline him too. Jamie comes up with an alternate form of punishment by having Ian do a pretty gross task, which seems like it's meant for a younger boy. But young Ian, by his nickname, is still rather young. Jamie does apologize to Ian for lying, but Ian points out that young Ian really wants to be like Jamie and he admires him so much. Back in the house, Jenny and Claire reminisce over the past, and Claire tries to bond with Jenny, but Jenny is very resistant. Later, Jamie tries to soften Jenny, but she's still pretty upset over all the lies, and she takes another jab at Jamie's lack of parental experience. He tries to tell Jenny what young Ian needs, but she drops the whole "you have another wife" thing in his face. Jenny wants the truth from Jamie, but he expands the story of Claire sailing to the colonies by adding that he thought she was killed in a village in Scotland. Jenny isn't buying it though, as she recalls the Claire that went looking for him when he was taken by the Redcoats. That night, Jamie starts talking to Claire about building a life for them in Lollybrook, but Claire can't see how that would work when Jenny doesn't trust her. She'd like to tell her the truth about her being a 200-year from the future traveler, but Jamie doesn't think she'll understand. He changes the subject and starts talking about the time he went looking for Claire out on Silky Island. Flashback number 1 of this episode fills in some information about the treasure that Jamie found and his choice to go back to the prison because he felt that he was a leader to the men. He also tells this slightly depressing tale about two birds that mate for life, and if you kill one, you have to kill another because otherwise the one will grieve itself to death. Jamie then tries to tell Claire the truth about his second wife, but he is too late as two little girls and his second wife, Leary, come bursting through the door. Jamie tries to calm Leary down and rushes her from the room, leaving a shocked Claire. Then we see him then start comforting the youngest of the two girls and telling her how he tried to love Leary, but they just don't have the bond that keeps two people together. But he has that bond with Claire. When he returns to the room, he finds Claire gathering her things to leave. He stops her and tries to explain what happened and why he didn't tell her the truth, and as well that the two little girls are not his. But Claire can't see past the fact that he married the very woman who tried to have her killed. Jamie admits he didn't tell her because he was a coward and feared losing her. This ignites a fight that the two of them have actually really been in need of. Jamie releases some of his anger about losing her in the first place, but Claire is shocked that he would say she left him when he forced her to go. Claire says she would have died at Culloden with him, but Jamie forced her to leave. Jamie seems kind of confused about his feelings. She had to leave for the sake of Brianna, but he's upset she left, and now he's somewhat upset that she came back because that there's a wrench in the life that he was living, but he admits that he would give up everything to be with her. They end up in a physical fight that turns into lovemaking, but then they're interrupted by Jenny, who throws a bucket of water on them because their fight woke up the whole house. Claire leaves the room, but is told by Janet that she told Leary Claire was back because her mother told her to do it. In perfect timing, of course, Jenny then walks by and Claire confronts her about her actions, but Jenny is not remorseful at all and points out that Leary is his wife. But then Claire goes ahead and says, "No, I'm his wife. To which Jenny replies, then why didn't you come looking for him? Why didn't you try to find him? Claire then expands again upon their whole cover story that she did have another husband and it was a matter of survival and she couldn't come looking for Jamie, but then when her other husband died, she decided to return and thought she would find his grave, but then found him alive. Jenny does see a bit of the truth in Claire's story, but she also knows that Claire isn't telling her the whole truth. Then she says that she doesn't know if she can or wants to trust her again, making this comparison to a horse that's broken its leg. You have to shoot it because it'll never heal right, and she says that they will never heal right. Man. As Jenny cleans up Jamie and Claire's mess, Ian comes in and tries to soothe her, but also points out that she's not really allowing Jamie to be happy. The next morning, Claire tries to leave Lollybrook, but Jamie stops her. He apologizes again and tries to explain himself, but Claire throws his own words back in his face about promising to always tell the truth, him breaking his own word and his promise to her. Their argument's interrupted again by Leary, who this time has a pistol. It seems that the target would have been Claire, but of course Jamie steps in front of her, the gun goes off. It's not really clear if Leary meant to shoot the gun at she seemed almost surprised by the gun going off too, though. So then Claire pushes Leary out of the way and tells her to stay away from him. Then she takes Jamie inside. Then we get to see Surgeon Claire show up again as she takes all the pellets out of Jamie's shoulder and his arm, repairs him. Young Ian acts somewhat as her assistant, even though he's not really doing anything. He's just asking her questions and calling her auntie. Super sweet, which I think really represents that he's accepted her into the family. During Jamie's recovery, he finally gets a chance to explain himself. Flashback number 2 shows us Jamie at Lollybrook during the holidays, where he encounters 2 young girls who help him to laugh again. These girls happen to be the daughters of Leary. Jamie thought he might just find all the things he had to let go of when Claire left. He wanted to be a father most of all, like he didn't get to do with Brianna or Willie. However, there's some unknown physical and probably emotional abuse that Leary suffered during her first or second marriage that prevents Jamie from touching her. So Jamie leaves. Claire reaches out to touch Jamie and discovers that he's burning up. So she gets to break out her needle and penicillin, which led to a funny moment where she gets to stick Jamie in the butt. Outside, Jenny is joined by Claire, where she tells Claire that she had a vision of her on Jamie and Leary's wedding day, where Claire appears at the altar with the 2 of them. She also talks about how she at first accepted Claire into the family without any questions asked when Jamie first brought her home, but unfortunately this time can't be like that. And Claire replies that she loved her too and that she wants a second chance. It does kind of seem like Jenny will try to give her a second chance at the end. Then we finally get to see Ned Gowan. He and Claire have a very sweet reunion, which leads into him explaining to Jamie and Claire the legalities of his second and first marriage, that the first marriage stands because Claire is in fact alive, but he will have to make amends with the church for marrying Leary. Ned informs them that Leary has made some sort of formal complaint against them, but it's Leary who shot Jamie, which they could in fact take to trial, but Jamie will not allow this because he doesn't want the 2 girls to lose both a father and a mother. Instead, Jamie is willing to pay Leary alimony in the sum of £20 and then an additional £10 a year for the girls until they get married. Jamie plans to pay her this money with the treasure that he found on Silky Island. Unfortunately, though, with his wounded arm, he cannot swim there. Insert young Ian, who volunteers. Jamie then plans to take the jewels to France, where cousin Jarrett will sell them, and he also would like to take young Ian with him. He and Claire promise to take better care of young Ian this time around. Out on the cliff, Jamie and Claire watch as young Ian swims out to Silky Island. As they wait, Jamie notices that Claire cannot even make eye contact with him. She then voices all her fears about returning and whether or not they are still meant to be together and how much harder everything has been since she's returned. She tries to say that their lives apart, though not ideal, were bearable. Jamie interjects that being a printer was nothing compared to being her husband. Claire feels things have been a lot harder than she expected them to be, but Jamie points out that when has their life ever been easy? Jamie then finally makes the connection between the bird story he told in the beginning and their love, that they are mated for life. He asks Claire if she's willing to risk the man that he is for the sake of the man that he used to be. But before Claire can answer, a ship appears off the coast of Silky Island. As young Ian makes his way down, he meets with what seems to be two pirates, and they kidnap him. Jamie does attempt to go after him, but Claire stops him because of his arm, which I'm not sure that he could have really done much even with two good arms. So I talked about the things that immediately caught my attention in my first reaction video, but on my second pass through this episode, I was surprised by how much the topic of Jamie's parenting experience keeps coming up. Twice now, he hasn't been able to raise his own children with Brianna or Willie. Even a third time, really, because of Faith's death. This is a pain he clearly feels, but for some reason people keep kicking him where it really hurts with this one. Now, I don't think he's made the best decisions as he's tried to kind of parent young Ian. And he even married Leary because he loved her two kids, and then he's not living with them. But I think it all comes back to the fact that his life just really doesn't work without Claire. I also thought it was interesting that Jamie talks about building a life at Lollybrook when just last week Claire was trying to talk about building a life where she could have her own practice and bring a little bit of money into the house, and he didn't really seem open to hearing that idea. Claire also puzzled me in this episode because she seems so flip-floppy. On one hand, she's mad at him and she's trying to leave him, but then she's telling Jenny that he's my husband and no one else can have him. She came all this way to let a few troubles get in the way of being with the man that she loves. Doesn't make sense to me. Jamie has been very clear that he'd give up everything to be with her, but Claire still feels like she's kind of waiting for something really big to happen to make her go back. There's a point where Jamie comments when he's telling the story about being back at Lollybrook that he felt like a ghost, and I thought that was an interesting statement because I think Claire definitely feels like a ghost now. There also seems to be a bit of a switch up this week with Jamie preventing Leary from any punishment. Last week, Claire tries to save a guy who attacked her, and Jamie was like, what? Why would you do that? So it's, even though, yes, he married Leary, and there's a bit more history and past there, whereas Claire was trying to save a stranger who tried to kill her, but I think the situations are slightly similar in that Claire was like, no, let her go to jail this week, but last week, Jamie was like, no, let him die. Okay, guys, what stuck out to you in episode 8? Comment below, and while you're at it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me at Melissa Elise TV on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching Melissa Elise TV.